Hey, what the hell's going on, you guys? This is Tuba playing NegativeAE, and welcome back to another episode of Will a Wonderful World. So, last we left off, we had just done the Wens, but now we're going to go on to Carlos and Chang Yong-min. Hope I pronounced that right. Hong Kong was different than what I had imagined. Back home in Mexico, everything was so colorful. But Hong Kong was just gray. Gray streets, gray buildings, gray store signs, gray homeless people. And there was me, sitting in the middle of them, looking odd. Never knew that pesos couldn't be exchanged into Hong Kong dollars here. When I woke up, I found a few more coins by my feet. Had to take them. Must survive. None of the homeless people seemed to like me very much, perhaps because they could only get about half as many coins as I. I had a big sister named Alicia. She was 9 years older than me. We both grew up in an orphanage in Monte Tolac. It was a really rural place. You had to travel 4 kilometers to get to the nearest town, Coatepec, just to make a phone call. Couldn't remember anything about my own parents. My big sister was the only one I had in this world. 9 years ago, Alicia had left Mexico to make more money. She used to write me letters every few months. Every time the mailman came, I would be so excited to see if there was an envelope with my name on it. Even though I couldn't read much, Auntie Benita would always read them to me. Alicia didn't have the easiest time, but she had seen so much of the outside world. By reading her letters, I felt like I got to see what Alicia had seen as well. I could almost feel like I was right there with her in the big, new, and interesting, fascinating world that we had never seen before. However, we had stopped hearing from her about a year ago. Her last letter had come from Hong Kong. So I had asked Uncle Depp to find a tutor for me who could teach me how to read and speak a little of the local language. I had worked so hard to make more money for the trip. I'd done all this just so I could come to Hong Kong, even though I wasn't sure if she was still in the city. Still, even if there was just the tiniest hope, I would never give up. I must find my sister to make sure that she was okay. I arrived at Pitt Street. Pitt Street had been on the postmark of Alicia's last letter. Maybe someone nearby might have seen her. Before I left, Auntie Benita gave me an old cell phone. I pulled up a picture of Alicia on the phone. I held up the phone, asking people door to door if they had seen my sister. I couldn't tell if they simply couldn't understand me. They would wave their hands at me every time before I had barely spoken. Almost halfway through the street, I found myself behind a huge crowd of people. Thick, dark smoke was coming out of a building nearby. People were shoving and running out of it. More and more people started to gather by the street. Many of them were taking pictures with their phones. A fire truck finally arrived. My cell phone suddenly rang. The cell phone fell to the ground. My cell phone was vibrating down on the ground, and then it fell through a storm drain. No! Sewer water was flowing rapidly in the drain. I had held onto the drain and tried my best to look down. Maybe the phone was stuck somewhere? I looked for a long time and even tried to reach it with my hand. But I couldn't get it. I was so tired, disappointed, and desperate. I couldn't pretend anymore. I fell to the ground, feeling like shit. The cell phone was the most valuable thing I had. It had the only private picture of my sister on it. Lord, please help me. I really didn't know if I could ever find my big sister without it. Next letter, please. The office of the Criminal Investigation Unit 4 looked like a small warehouse that hadn't been organized in forever. It was crowded and messy in the first place. Then, almost every desk had stacks of files that were at least 20 centimeters tall, as well as kinds of evidence and other random items. I stood up straight and gave a salute. Chang Yong-min, reporting for duty Unit 4. There were only 2 other persons there beside me. One of them was wiping down his rifle. He looked at me with a strange, examining look on his face. The other had dark circles around his eyes, which made him look like he hadn't slept for days. He was looking over some files. I could turn this up, Judging from his seat, this must be the infamous Lieutenant of Unit 4, Kang Bakia. Lieutenant Kang gave me a glance with a half-smoked cigarette in his mouth. He mumbled, "You, over there." I followed the direction of his look and saw the desk that he seemed to be referring to. Many old bags from McDonald's were stacked on top of it, filled with leftovers and trash. It was also directly opposite from the bathroom facing it. It was okay, as long as I had somewhere to sit. I was about to ask Lieutenant Kang what I should do next when the phone on his desk rang. He put down the phone and announced to us that there was a gang-related hostage situation 2 blocks away from here. I thought my opportunity to defend justice would arrive so soon. Lieutenant Kang put his cigarette in an ashtray and stood up. I followed him. He grabbed his coat and asked, "Hey, new guy." He grabbed his coat and asked, "Hey, new guy, you got your gun?" My gun? No, not yet. And where do you think you were going? Stay by the phone. Take notes if anything comes up. Don't speak too much. I can still help without a gun. As a policeman, I swore to defend justice, to prevent all offenses against people and property. Justice? Huh. Lieutenant Kang burst into laughter before I could finish my sentence. Think justice is going to block a bullet from hitting you? Well, kid, I've seen plenty of idiots like you in my unit. There's only one rule you need to remember at all times, which is to follow the orders. But I meant it all. I was just trying to help. First day on the job, I already have such a misunderstanding with my lieutenant. Before I could explain myself, Lieutenant Kang continued. If you have a problem with staying by the phone, you could just go home. Don't bother coming back tomorrow either. I'll let the old man know. After they left, I sat down at my seat opposite the bathroom. As my nose was catching glimpses of the faint, stinky smell, I let out a defeated sigh. When I had been in the police academy, people would always have an understanding smile on their face whenever Unit 4 was brought up. Everyone heard all kinds of rumors about this place. Lieutenant Kang was the infamous dictator of the Criminal Investigation Department. Everyone must follow his orders without question. He had a peculiar personality, and he was extremely rough, even cruel with the criminals. Besides, Lieutenant Kang was a lot younger than the other unit's lieutenants. Therefore, many people speculated that Lieutenant Kang had only gotten his position because of nepotism. As a result, no rookies ever wanted to join Unit 4. As for the unit that everyone dreamt of getting into, that would have to be Unit 1. Unit 1 had over 30 officers, and it was widely considered to be the best unit in the department. Here I was, assigned to Unit 4. I was sulking when the phone rang. It was another hostage case in Upyangdang. Since no one was available, and Unit 4 was available, I suppose this was my time to shine. I hurried to the scene in 10 minutes. 10-story apartment building. I could vaguely see 2 people on the ledge of the rooftop. People told me they were a married couple. Husband borrowed too much money from loan sharks and couldn't pay them back. Or the husband. My husband. That was why he wanted to jump off the building. And he had forced his wife up there with him. Well, let's see how I, Chang Yong-min, would brilliantly solve this crisis. One of his feet already at the edge of the ledge, holding a knife against his frightened wife's neck. I walked over there. Stop. I'm telling you to stop. He got riled up, and his right foot missed the ledge, fell over the edge, and dragged his wife with him. Wait, no! Before I even had a chance to talk him down, both of them disappeared out of my sight. Terrible scene at the bottom of the building. Even though it was 10 floors above the ground, I could still smell the blood. It almost made me sick. I stood there in shock. For the first time, I finally realized, or recognized, what it felt like to be a real policeman. God, what the hell had I done? Would I be any more stupid? Please, Buddha, let me have another chance, please. Alright. Let's start this shit, dude. Alright, so this has to be over here. Fire truck has to be over here. Fire truck finally arrived. But if the fire truck is over here, then the fire truck can't be over there. Switch everything? The phone kept ringing. Who the hell would be calling me at this godforsaken moment? It's about to bend over and pick it up. Suddenly, the man suddenly got riled up. He waved the knife at me wildly. Don't move, don't answer the phone. Dropped the knife out of pain. She ran over, hid behind me before he could pick it back up. And suddenly began wailing like a child. Sue, even you were abandoning me. Fine, I'll just go by myself. He raised his knife and cut his own throat open. Not enough time to react. Rogers hadn't arrived yet. It's total chaos and then... Okay. Summoned a lot of people. I was injured and... Oh, I should go help too. Walk towards the man. I would like to... block my sight. The guy seemed like twice my size. Deep scar on his face. Help. I don't know what to say next. Gasuka... Fire extinguisher. Truck full of fire extinguishers finally arrived. Fire was put out by sunset. Exhaust was covered with dust and ash from head to toe. Man leading the team had already left. For helping on the fire. Okay, so I got a bad rank there. Retry. Okay. My cell phone suddenly rang. Let's try that. I feel like that works out pretty well. You drop the phone, you stop the... I tried to talk some sense into him. I told him that one could always earn back the money. I said he still had his wife's full support, so we shouldn't give up just yet. I even tried asking him if he would like some Dolst bit... I don't know. I know that word because it's like a Korean thing. They say in Korea a lot, and I'm like real into the K-pop scene or whatever. So whenever I see like vlogs of like the K-pop stars, I always see them eating that, but I don't know what it or how to say it off the top of my head. Of the techniques that I had learned from the academy actually worked. The standoff kept going. And if you want to die so much, let me go with you then. I hope we could both be happy in our next lives. What? Like he completely lost his mind. I couldn't let it happen a second time. I sprinted to kick the knife out of his hand, pinned the man to the ground, looked at his wife's body, which was only half a meter away and slowly losing warmth, and wept. Neither of us had expected the situation to turn out like that. I was suspended due to the serious consequences caused by my wreck. We fucking try then. Stop. I'm telling you to stop. Shit. Yeah. Okay. That was bad again. Wow, I got an A on that? That sounded awful. Okay, let's retry. That was bad on both sides. I feel like if the cell phone fell on the ground, he walked over to pick it up, and then it rang. But no. Let's do that. That has to be something else, right? Who the hell would be calling me? This guy. I turned around and answered the phone quietly. It's from the station. Told me something important happened in the unit. I must get back as soon as possible and wait for their instructions. I realized that the couple had disappeared from the ledge. Fortunately, the fire department set up a cushion below. You were suspended? The phone was knocked out of my hand and dropped to the ground. It kept spinning and almost fell down the storm drain. That was close. Total chaos in front of the burning building. I left the crowd and walked next to the street, asking pedestrians about Alicia. Am I too stupid? It's not your fault. Some things seem to be tied up over there with paying Bakia. Once you solve the problem over there, it might impact this one too. Occasionally, we might not be able to solve the current case because of something that happened somewhere else. When this occurs, you will see orange text in the letters. The appearance of orange text typically means that you will need to consult another letter to handle the current one. What the fuck? So basically, if I see orange text in a letter, I should go check some of the other letters first, right? Correct. Sometimes you might need to handle the other letters first. Otherwise, it might just mean you need to look for... Other times, it might just mean that you need to look for clues in other letters. It really depends on the letters. You'll have to use your own judgment. It doesn't happen too often, but if you encounter them, you're sure to take advantage of the hints in the letters to help you. Interesting. I already know this, yes. The possible endings, yes. I'm aware of how this works. I'm aware of how this works, thank you. It's not confusing. I got it.
Dios, ¿qué hice?
Alright, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. That was a relatively nice short episode. We need to do, I guess, another letter, which I think is these two. Yeah, they're connected. In order to solve this letter, which we could not unless we solve this letter first. So, that's what we'll be doing on the next episode of this. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button. I really appreciate it, especially on the visual novel stuff. No, I just like playing visual novel stuff. I know it's not for everybody, but some of the stories that are produced are pretty good. I don't know about this one. We might give this one a couple more episodes, but like, I feel like this is very puzzly and not very like story. I guess there's a story going on. I would have to play like the whole thing, and I don't know if I want to play the whole thing on the channel. I don't know. What do you guys think? If you guys have made it this far into the series, do you guys like this? Or is it like something that you would just be like, I'm okay with letting this one go? I don't know. Like, it's kind of like iffy whether or not this will turn into something crazy or not, you know? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode, whatever that may be. Peace out, you guys.